Yo, what's going on, traders? All right, today we got a little green day, as you can see here. I'm up $110, about 2.7%. I had one losing trade and one winning trade. Seems to be cooling down a bit. Didn't really see any great setup, so I took one trade with half my buying power, then the second trade with the other half of the buying power, which is kind of what I tend to do when the market cools off because if I don't see a setup I love, I'm not going to go all in on that trade. I'm going to try to split the trades up. You know, with a lower probability, um, I feel like the first trade could potentially be red. I don't know. Market's been hot for a couple weeks now, and it just seems like it's cooling off a bit, a little choppier, nothing great um, today. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. Anyway, let's go over the trades real quick. First trade was on BKYI. It was happened right here after this VWAP reclaim. I was watching a pullback here. Honestly, thought we were gonna get this dip, and once I saw this candle starting to form, I thought we were just gonna get a leg higher. Um, I thought we were gonna get a leg up just back to high day, maybe through it, just because of the size of this candle and the way it bounced off VWAP here. But I wanted to consolidate a little bit more. So I got in on this candle around 85 cents. So it was like, I don't know, it was up here. So just expecting it to shoot up. It didn't. Want it to dip, pop. It double topped here, which kind of like gave me a little bit of a warning sign. I was like, it didn't go on this candle, it didn't go on this candle. So when it dipped back down, I was watching it, see if it was going to hold the 90 EMA on the 1 minute chart. It dipped right below it, and I stopped out. Um, I stopped out just because I didn't have much conviction on this trade once it was doing this, and I stopped out for like a $60 loss. As soon as I stopped out, of course, it bounces and then it breaks out and does exactly what I wanted. So it broke the descending resistance line that I had drawn after. It popped up, did a little pullback, and then went higher through high day. Again, I got shooken out a little bit. I could have let this go a little bit further down and I would have been fine, but I just, I wasn't really feeling this trade too much. It was a nice 5 minute setup though, so I just wanted to go on this next 5 minute candle. But it is what it is. So I missed out on that trade. If I got this winner, I hate doing this hindsight trading crap, but I was in with 2,000 shares. If I got 10 cents on this, which from 85 to 95 up here, if I got 10 cents on this, it would have been a $200 winner. So I could have had a decent winner on this one, but unfortunately, I just got shooken out and stopped out. It's a problem when you're trying to keep risk a little too tight. This is bound to happen. Again, setup wasn't amazing. I expected it just to retest VWAP and go higher, and it didn't. So that one shook me out. No big deal. I had the second trade, which was a little bit better. Um, this was on TIRX, which I think eventually became our leading gapper for pre-market, but this was at 802. So I was watching it a little bit as it curled here, and I was thinking about taking this trade, but in the 5 minute chart, I saw this big rejection, and as it was curling, I didn't see it curl with much strength. This is a lower price stock too, which both my trades were stocks under a dollar. I usually like to trade stocks between like $2 and $10. I think like 3 to 7 is my sweet spot. So this is a lower price stock. when I saw this curling and the VWAP break, it didn't break with much conviction. I was thinking, all right, if I get in here on 50 cents, if it goes back to high day, I'll get my 10 cents off of it. Um, but I just didn't have much conviction that it was gonna go. And I actually left my computer on 7:30 because what I was looking for at 7:30 was like a news catalyst come out. And once I saw nothing really fresh coming out, I stepped away from my computer. Well, I stepped away and it did a perfect retest, and then volume finally came in. So if I saw this bigger green candle, if I was at my computer, I probably would have took this because this move was nice. This went from like 55 cents all the way to 90, which I missed that whole move, but I did sit back down at my computer before 8 o'clock because again, I'm waiting like every half an hour news comes out, 7, 7:30, 8:39. So I sat back down and I saw this setup forming on the 5-minute chart. We had a nice low volume pullback. Um, I saw the pullback was less volume than the move up. Even though we had a couple top and tails here, it just gave me a nice descending resistance line. So what I saw was I saw this pop. I didn't take this trade because I'm like, this still I'm unsure about. We already had one rejection. So I saw this pop and then I saw this rejection right at 8 o'clock. But then I saw it recover. So it bounced and it kind of gave us this nice bottom tail in the 5-minute chart right here. And then it broke. And that's when I got in. I got in at 81 cents. So as it was breaking on this candle, I said, okay, here we go. This looks a little more promising. We got a 5-minute setup, nice bottom tail. This is probably going to create a nice size green candle. So I got in and I sold at 93, about 93 cents for the most of the position. So I got in here, it dipped, and then when it went up higher, I sold most of my position. I held some for a runner, hoping it would go higher and create a bigger candle, but it didn't. I went back down my entry, so I missed out on like maybe $50 or $60 by holding a runner again. Now again, this keeps happening where I hold on to a partial my position and it just goes back to my entry. So, I don't know if I should continue holding on to runners. I feel like if I just stop out or just sell my remaining position on that second sell. So I like to sell half and then I like to sell the other half and then I hold the runner. But I'm thinking about selling half and then sell my remaining position. And I know once I do that, one of them is just going to keep running without me. So I know that's going to happen. But with the market cooling down a little bit, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I catch like the earlier move, I can keep a runner. And then if I trade the 5-minute setup where it's already kind of up high and just it's not going to go much higher. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I think I got about 10% on this trade, 81 to 93. Yeah, so this could have been like a $200 winner, a little less because I didn't sell that runner. And I ended up making about, I had that $60 loss, so I think I made like $170 off of it. But definitely could have been a little bit more. It's all good though. In this colder market, if I'm just green 3% or whatever, I'm fine with that. Once it heats back up, I can have the bigger winners or just the more consistent winners. But as you can see, I had some nice 7, 5, 5, 7. So I had some nice winners during this hotter market. And I feel like I could have did better. I was selling a little too early on some of my setups. So once the market heats back up again, I think I can hold my winners a little bit longer. But as the market's kind of choppy, I'm probably going to keep selling pretty quickly. But we'll find that sweet spot soon enough. Again, this is a small account, so I'm just doing my best to get green each day and get out. Maximizing my winners is important, but it's not as important as just staying consistent, not getting greedy, stopping out my losers quickly and getting that 5-7% winner, which I seem to be doing quite well. Now, if I took full buying power on this, it would have been a $400 winner. So, you know, I think the trade was good. That's kind of what I'm looking for. A move through a dollar, maybe it got to $1.05, another 10 cents. I could add $100 onto this trade. It just didn't happen. So that's where I'm sitting on the day and my thoughts. What I could have done better today, honestly, I could have been more patient on this curl. I I just didn't think it was. I didn't even think it was going to go back to high day just by the size of these candles. I'm like, all right, there's not enough buying volume to create a big body candle even through VWAP. But if I waited a few more minutes, I could have looked at the retest, and then I would have saw this big body candle, and I could have gotten way down here around like 50, 55, 56 cents for the push through high day. So I think I could have been a little more patient, got in at a lower price, traded more of like a VWAP reclaim and retest instead of the 5 minute setup. I think I would have done a little bit better if I did that. Um, and on the first trade I took, I think I could have done better by letting it play out a little bit more. I stopped out. I think I stopped out prematurely on this one. Like I said, I could have at least waited for it to come down here to like the double bottom or the 20 EMA. Um, and this is all hindsight though, so it's like I kept my loser small, and my next trade, the winner made up for it. If this was like a $120 loss, which I think it would have been if I let it run a bit more, if it did go lower, then I'm gonna have a break-even day. So again, not the most conviction on this price action here where it does this. So I don't know. In hindsight, it's always clear, but when I'm watching this, like this isn't that pretty, especially the double top where it didn't break the pivot here. But this is an ABCD pattern. So you get the pop up, the pullback, the pop up, a higher low, and then the curl through. So the setup was valid. I just kind of think I just kind of backed out of the trade a little soon because I didn't want to have my first trade too big of red. So $60 was enough for me. Anyway, yeah, so going back to what I said about yesterday, I said if I keep my losses small enough, my red days small enough, I can get out a drawdown typically the day after. I don't have back-to-back red days for the most part. I haven't had them yet during this small account challenge. So if I keep my red days small enough, I can get out of drawdown the day after. If my red day becomes too big, it took me, again, this whole week to get out of drawdown. So I didn't get out of drawdown. I had this red day, which was big. Trying to get out of drawdown, have another red day on Friday. So I didn't get out of drawdown until the 13th. So I want to keep my red days and my red trades just small in general. So I'm not too far into drawdown. For this week, I am still sitting decent. I'm up 300% on the week, or 300%, $300. I'm up 7.65. So if I can get a nice win tomorrow and then not lose on Friday, I'll be at my 10%, and I'll be around 30% on the month, which I'm fine with. If I can have a nice Thursday and Friday and get closer to 35%, that's amazing. That's closer to my goal, but I'm fine with 30%. That's kind of what I did uh, in December, 31%. And I think I only traded 3 weeks that. Oh God, what did I do? So I deposited like just a couple $100 this week, where I was just getting used to WeBull because I never used it before, and then I deposited the $1,700 here. So I only traded 1, 2, 3 weeks, and I was able to pull I guess it's calculating the percentage on this too. So anyway, 30%. I think 30% is good. 40% is the goal. Hoping to hit a nice 40% month soon. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll be posting again tomorrow. So I appreciate you guys watching these recaps. If you have any questions, feedback, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right. Well, again, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow.